It has been a while since I've done a tier list on this channel, and mainly because they ended up on the Plus channel when I did make them, but now that that channel doesn't exist anymore, we're throwing the videos back here. So we have a tier list of every single weapon reskin in the entire game. Also, if you're new around here and you're not already subscribed, like 60 or 70% of you guys aren't, then click the subscribe button. You might think you're subscribed, you're probably not, so just go and check it, and it would mean a lot to me if you did. So without further ado, let's get into this. They are an online trading website with a huge inventory of stuff that you can trade for, which is really nice, and sometimes you can even buy stuff in that site for around buy orders, which is quite rare and you don't normally get to do that. There is also a giveaways tab where every single week they give away an unusual, so definitely make sure you check that out. And the site is fully automatic, so you don't have to be trading with actual people, and you can trade at pretty much any time of the day that you would like to. The link will be in the description. Definitely go and check them out. They are a really awesome site. I've used them before in the past. Definitely recommended. Okay, so we're starting off with the AppSap. Now, I think this is an A tier reskin. It's just a reskin of the Sapper, but it talks to you, it looks really cool, and like having all of the different voice lines from Portal and stuff like that is pretty cool. So the Apocophist, I don't really care too much about these ones. I don't want to put them in ooh. I think they're a D tier item for me. Like they're not bad looking, but again, they're just a big pair of boxing gloves, I guess. I'm not too bothered about them. They don't wow me as much as some of these other reskins do. So, there you go. Okay, next up we have the Bat Out of Hell. And you know what? I think that's a pretty solid B tier item. It's for all classes, but it's got loads of different styles on it as well. I don't use it too much. It'd be cool to use around Halloween, I think. But other than that, I'm not too bothered about it. I like the look of that way more than I like the look of the Apocophists. And I think this thing is actually, it is cool. And a lot of people seem to like this one. So, I'm putting it in B. Okay, so the Bat Saber, that's an easy A tier. It's a lightsaber in TF2. It looks sick. Actually, weirdly suits TF2 quite well with some of like the futuristic laser weapons that are already in the game. So, do you know what? I think it fits. I quite like it. Next, the Black Rose, also easy A tier item. That is such an easy A tier. It's such a cool looking knife. The engravings on it are really nice. The way you got it as well, like it's a really rare item now because I don't think the game exists on Steam that this came from anymore. Maybe they're bringing it back, but it got taken off Steam for a while, so it was really hard to get one of these things. Yeah, the Black Rose, awesome looking spy knife. Next we have the Bootlegger. I mean, as a reskin, it's good. It's a reskin of the Alibaba's Wee Booties, but like the actual look of it, I don't really care. I'm not too bothered about it. It's just shoes, and you don't really ever look at TF2 characters' feet. So yeah, it's going in D tier to me. The Bread Bite. It's good. It's better than the Gloves Are Running Urgently, but I don't think it's as good as the Bat Out of Hell for me. I like the fact that they fight each other. That's pretty cool. And I love the update that they came from, but I don't play heavy too much. That might sway my decision a little bit. I don't know. The Conscientious Objector. I probably said that wrong. That's a B tier. Now, I like it when the signs are funny, but I've made it very clear in the past in a video I made about Valve not caring about content creators that was a little bit controversial, that, you know, I don't like the signs all of the time. People put dumb stuff on it. People put like 18 plus stuff on it. And as a streamer, that's annoying. If I was just playing the game normally, I wasn't ever streaming this thing, I wasn't ever recording it, trying to put videos out, then I really don't think I'd care that much. But because everything people put on signs could end up affecting me somehow, then I think that's what swayed my decision a little bit. Next, the Upper Hand. Another easy A tier reskin. This weapon is incredible. I love the way it sounds. I love the AWP in CSGO anyways, so having it in TF2 is also really cool. Okay, so the Horseless Headless Horseman's Axe. I probably said that wrong. I think that's another A tier item. Well, holding it in your hand is huge when you actually get into the game, but the way you get it, how kind of, it's weird that this for me is a very iconic weapon. Like, I remember starting the game and realizing I really wanted it because at the time it was the only unusual weapon that actually existed. This used to be the only unusual weapon, but it didn't have an effect on it, and the way you got it was like killing the Horseman, but you had to melee kill him to get the metal scrap, and then you can make a hat or the axe out of it. To me, that's really cool, and I wish there was more things like that in TF2 where you had to play a certain map, kill something in a certain way to get a certain item to make you craft another cool weapon or something like that. Maybe they should add more reskins like this. The Enthusiast Timepiece. It looks a bit like Pac-Man. Maybe that's the point. Maybe it's not. B tier item. It turns invisible as soon as you get it out. So maybe, in fact, top of C tier. I think it looks sick, but you can never actually look at it in game. Spy watches are so difficult because, yeah, you don't really see them most of the time. The Fortified Compound, another B tier, is going to be top of B tier for me, though. I think this thing looks sick. Crafting it, you know, it felt really good trying to craft one of these. The Freedom Staff. Honestly, I think it's going to be a C tier for me. I don't think with most view model settings, you can barely see the eagle at the top of it. At least, like, my first couple of years playing TF2, I had this thing. You couldn't see the eagle on the top of it because of my view model settings. I still think it's cool, but I don't think it's as cool as what's above it, which is why I've thrown it in C. The Frying Pan is a B, or a high B. Definitely a high B tier, because, you know, it's the iconic frying pan. Like, everybody knows about this thing. Everybody loves it, mostly. The noise is annoying, but... you know what? It's part of TF2 now. It's part of the history. It's part of the lore. It's part of, like, the iconicness of TF2, if that even makes any sense. So it has to be up there, you know? And then the Golden Frying Pan, I'm throwing it in A. I just think it's sick. Holding one of these things feels incredible. Seeing one of them in a server is absolutely amazing. Even though I will never own one of these things for myself, I actually just still really like seeing them in the game. And I know I've seen a bunch of them. I've held a bunch of them now. But it doesn't get any less cool for me. This thing is amazing. Okay, so the Holy Mackerel. Throwing that straight into A tier. Top of A tier. Now, I've realized halfway through this, I haven't made an S tier. And I've just got an U tier that I'm not going to use. Maybe we just really quickly, let's delete that row. If there was an S tier, which there isn't, the Holy Mackerel would be at the top of it, okay? Moving on. The Iron Curtain, C tier. It's a really cool weapon. I really liked the fact you got it from Poker Night. Don't know how to play poker, but kept resetting enough times so I won. But it's hard to differentiate this from a regular minigun while you're playing the actual game, or even from the Natasha sometimes. In certain lights on certain maps, this thing is kind of hard to tell. Other than that, I think it looks really cool. I like using it when I use the minigun. I like the Tomislav more, though. But yeah, this thing is pretty nice. Postal Pummeler. I think this is a D tier again. It's a post box. I like the idea of it. Actually, it's a C tier. I like it more than both of these two, so it'd be unfair. Yeah, it's just simple, which I like, but... yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We don't have post boxes like this in the UK, so maybe that's why. The Maul, another high A tier item for me. Again, I think it has to do with the fact that this thing is ridiculously iconic for me. The fact that, you know, I loved trying to craft these things years ago. Like, watching somebody craft one was absolutely amazing. This was a big part of trading when I was big into trading as well. And all of the memories I have surrounding the Maul are way better. I'm a bit biased there. That's definitely helping it, but yeah, it's an A tier for me. The Memory Maker, I don't have too much to say about it. So I think it's a B tier. I think it looks great, but I'm never going to get one. And I don't think I've ever seen one in the game either. So I don't remember. It's going in C tier. It's top of C tier. All right, whatever. We'll move on. The Mad Milk is a B tier. Again, I really liked the Love and War update. I think it was sick. The bread and stuff is quite funny. And throwing this on somebody and watching the bread kind of attach to them, you know, it's quite cool. Nessie 99, it's a D tier. It's just a golf club. The Nostromo Napalmer, a B tier item. I think this one actually it's a low A tier for me. It looks sick in game, especially with Matafong 0. I definitely think this is one of the coolest looking flamethrowers in the entire game. Pretty Machete is also going to be up there in the A tier. Very cool looking melee weapon. You can use it for the spy, and I think you can use it for the engineer as well. This thing looks sick. It looks funny. It's comically big, but I quite like that. The Quaken Bird as well. I would put this in C because it is the same as the Enthusiast Timepiece for me, but I like the duck, okay? The duck's pretty cool. It's going in B tier. The Lollichop, D tier. Is it D tier? It's top of D tier if it's in D tier. The Rainblower. Now, I used to love the Rainblower. I always wanted one when I first started playing, and now I don't really care about it too much. But because I liked it at the time, I'm going to put it in C tier. The Robo Sandwich, high B tier for me. I don't think I'm ever going to own one of these things, but I like the concept behind it. It wasn't even part of the Electric Boogaloo update or whatever the Robo Hat update was for TF2. This wasn't part of it. This was a completely different thing. Yeah, the Shooting Star is easily an A tier item for me. I think it looks great. I really like the fact that it's a reskin of the Mackerel, so I can actually try and use the Mackerel a little bit more. Even if I just equip the regular one, it would be fine. But I like having a nice reskin. Really, really cool looking weapon. The Unarmed Combat is, I think this is a D tier as well. It's just a not as funny fish. The Scottish Handshake, I used to love this weapon. I used to always use it. So it's going C tier, but again, it is just a bottle. God, I don't even know what this is called. Self-Aware Beauty Mark or something. I like the green, but I don't like it as much as this one. I don't think this is as funny. Even though they do exactly the same thing, pretty much. I'm just going to put the duck in between them. The Sharp Dresser. Easy A tier item for me. Again, for the same reason as the Maul, I guess. I guess I can even just throw the 3-ring blade and the upper hand right next to it, because these 4 weapons are all the same. I love them so much. They're my favorites. The Snack Attack. A high B, actually. This is a really cool sapper. If I played Spy, I think this would be a lot higher, but I really like the way the sapper looks. It's definitely a bit different. Definitely a little bit weird, but it's TF2. I like that. So it's going in B tier. The Wanga Prick, also a pretty cool knife. Putting it in B tier because it's quite small. You can't see too much of it. I like the idea, and I like how it looks in game. Lugamorph, again, easy A tier. It's a Lugamorph. I use it all the time. I think it's the best looking scout pistol, so it's going in there. The Big Kill is going to go right next to it. I love the Big Kill. I really want to get another one because I've been playing Spy a little bit more recently, so getting a Big Kill would be very, very nice. It looks amazing. It reminds me so much of like old Muselk videos where he played Spy, and that is always what's like ingrained in my memory when I think of the Big Kill. It's just old Muselk videos, which I really like. The nostalgia there is really cool. The Fish Cake, I think it's a bit weird. I don't really know with this weapon. It's just odd. You don't see it too often. I think you craft it, but you needed a weird item to craft it. And I never figured out how to do that because I didn't care too much about the fish cake. You know what? It's better than everything else in D tier. So, yeah, it can go there. The Kappa is going to be a low A tier. I don't like it as much as the Lugamorph, but I still think it's a sick-looking weapon. The Hamshank is going to go in high B tier. In fact, it's going to be the highest in the B tier because it's pretty good. I like it. It's the same as the Pan for me, I think. So those two will go next to each other. But yeah, I choose not to use the ham because I have like the fish on the scout that I like using more, and just a bunch of other like actual melee weapons for a bunch of the other classes that I use way more than I use the hams. Okay then, so finally as well we have the Saxxy, which is going to go in the A tier because this thing again is a very iconic TF2 weapon. Like, most people in TF2 won't ever own one of these. A lot of people won't ever see one in game, and let alone like hold one and be able to try and get like a backstab with it, or try and just get a kill with it and turn somebody to gold. Like, this thing is rare, like ridiculously rare. But anyway, that is going to do it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching and getting to this point if you did. If you did, please make sure you leave this video a like and also subscribe to the channel if you're new. It would mean a lot. And yeah, with that, thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.